Okay, so yesterday we talked about factor by grouping. Okay, so today we got to talk about how to. Whoops. Turn. There we go. No, there we go. Okay, so now we got to talk about how to use those factors to solve a problem. Okay, so we're gonna get an x equals answer or an a equals or whatever letter you've got. Okay, so solving for the variable. Okay, so what happens is you do the factor by grouping stuff. So everything we did yesterday still applies. Go through factor by grouping. Get your two parentheses, okay? Because that's what is going to help us solve this problem. So once you have, yes, right, that step, because that matters. Yeah, let's highlight it in green. Why not? It is a rule. It's a set of steps, so we probably should highlight it. Okay. So
Isaac.
after you go through this process, you have your two sets of parentheses. Your two sets of parentheses become your possible answers. Okay. So I need to make this so that doesn't rotate. So what happens is you set the parentheses equal to 0. Probably. 1 second. Oops, 0. Don't forget the R. Here you go, Pierce.
I'm sorry, I don't use it.
Okay, so if we go back to and look at our example from yesterday where we got this W minus 2 times W squared plus 9. Okay. So from that, we did the factor by grouping. That's where the example left off yesterday. Okay, so from that, we set the parentheses equal to 0. So W minus 2 equals 0, or W squared plus 9 equals 0. Okay, so then it's just solving an equation. We've done that a million times. We know how to do this. So if I want to figure out in that first equation what W is, what do I need to do? Add 2 to 0. So then that says W equals 2. That one's done. Okay, so the third step is just solve. Okay, if I want to figure out in that second equation what W is, what do I need to do? Subtract the 9. Cancels out. W squared equals negative 9. How do you get rid of a square root? Oh, I just told you the answer. How do you get rid of a square? Square root. So I take the square root. We can't do the square root of a negative. Yes. We can't do the square root of a negative. So actually, if you get to this point, and that's the case, then you know this isn't an answer, right? We're just going to stick with the other one. Okay, so sometimes you'll have two different numbers that solve the equation. Sometimes you'll only have one. Make sense? This is like a couple examples and I'll let you get your homework done. Okay, let's try this. Factor and solve. Because yesterday all we did was factor. Number 1, a to the third plus 13a squared minus 5a minus 65. Okay, let's go through this just like we did yesterday. Right? What's the first step when we're factoring? Separate it into two groups. So I've got a to the third plus 13a squared and negative 5a minus 65. What goes into 8 to the third and 13a squared? 8 to the second. Okay, and what are we left with? A plus 13, because I had 3 a's. I moved 2 of them out. 13 didn't change, and we moved both of those a's to the outside. Okay, then second problem. -5 goes into both of those. So then I have a, what happens here? Changes to positive plus, what's 65 divided by 5? 13. Okay, then it works out because our factors are the same, or our binomials are the same. Okay, so what's one factor? A plus 13. What's the other? A squared minus 5. Okay, now here's the new part. We want to solve it. How do I solve it? If we want to find what a equals, set the parentheses equal to 0, right? A plus 13 equals 0. A squared minus 5 equals 0. Okay, first, a plus 13 equals 0. What do I need to do to figure out what a is? Subtract 13. What does a have to be? 0 minus 13? -13. Okay, if I want to solve the other side, what am I going to do? Add 5. Now I've got a squared equals 5. What do I have to do? Square root it. And I already did the math for you. The square root of 5 is like 2.24. Whoops. I don't need that sign. 2.24. Okay, so a can be -13 or 2.24. Those are both correct answers. You need to have them both. Okay. Is this making sense? One more, and then we'll be done. X to the third minus 3x squared minus 36x plus 108. Okay, one step at a time. First, we've got to make our groups. Okay, what should I do next? You can take x squared out of the first one. So you've got x minus 3. Got any guesses what comes out of the second one? This is the last 9 does go into both these numbers. But check this out. We want our parentheses to be x minus 3, right? So what do you think you have to take out of that? -36. Okay, so then it switches to x. This switches to minus because we took out a negative. And guess what 108 divided by 36 is? 3. All right, so then, what are my two factors? X minus 3 minus 36. Perfect. Okay, so last thing. This is the new part. What do we have to do? Make both equal 0. Okay, so on the first set, what do I need to do? Add 3. Then x equals 3. Okay. Second set, what needs to happen? Add 36. X squared equals 36. Then what? Take the square root to get rid of that squared. And x equals 6. So x can be 3 or 6. Both will solve the problem. Okay, questions, comments, concerns about what we're doing? I will leave that up there. Okay, so your homework is on Canvas. Some of you've already found it. 7.6 practice. It will be due on Monday.